This is his daughter. I can't believe this is all on GoPro.
Ooh! Where's the GoPro footage?
I can't believe this is all on GoPro.
So let's get into the details of the case.
All right, let's get in it.
Gwyneth Paltrow has skied since she was 3 years old and considers herself an intermediate skier. Miss Paltrow has skied about a half a dozen times at Deer Valley Ski Resort. She hires multiple ski instructors for her children, which allows them to skip the lines. The private instructors cost thousands of dollars per day. On the day of the collision, February 26, 2016, Miss Paltrow is skiing at Deer Valley with 9 people, including her 2 children, her future husband.
I'm sorry, this is like an afterthought. Was he trying to shame her a little bit? But like, oh yeah, she hires a ski instructor, pays thousands of dollars so her children can skip the line. Or am I just like reading that weird? I put my ski back on. I told her that I would ski down to the bottom, use the ski patrol phone to call for help, and I did. No one knew who I was, luckily for me. It sounds like a slapstick movie from the 1930s. All the flatlanders are human obstacles on the ski hill. Would have thought she would have been gotten a decent lawyer. Her guy seems really bonkers when he started on the claimant's attorney. I saw they were arguing a little bit, something about like all the objections, and he was getting a little pissy that so many objections were happening during opening statements. Verdict watch.
Brad Falchuk, his 2 children, and 4 Deer Valley private ski instructors. Eric Christensen is one of those private ski instructors. He has worked for Miss Paltrow's family for a handful of ski vacations in past seasons. Eric Christensen knows the family well enough that one time he sent her son some pottery that he hand makes. A few minutes before noon...
Oh, he's trying to say the ski instructor that she has as a witness. Well, he's friends with her. They've known each other for a while.
Paltrow's group of 10 meet at the top of Bandana Ski Run to go to the bottom for lunch. Bandana is a green run about 3/4 of a mile long. Mm-hmm. Deer Valley grooms Bandana every day, every ski day. Skiers have skied on it for 3 hours. The snow is packed. Although a green run, Bandana is steep enough for skiers to pick up speed unless they make turns.
Okay.
Slow signs are always at the top. I'm just going to show you a picture of that real quick.
Yeah, let me see the picture. Ooh, he's got a little iPad. I got the same iPad.
So this is the top of Bandana Ski Run. This is not the day of the crash, but it's near the crash
Oh, there's Gwen right there. Hey, what's up, Gwen? You're over there on the right side.
site. And as you can see, the top of the lift is where people get off and start to ski.
Did you guys know that Gwen... Did you guys know that Gwyneth Paltrow made like a pussy candle? Did anyone buy it by any chance? I'm very curious. Just very curious what it smells like.
And they come down, and the rest of Bandana goes down about another half mile or so.
Okay.
Also at the top of Bandana is a meetup group of about 6 adults. A meetup group is a group that meets online to engage in activities like skiing, hiking, or bowling, or many other activities. Plaintiff Terry Sanderson is in this meetup group. 4 in the meetup group ski down. 4 of those in the meetup group.
I actually, someone kept mentioning Goop. I thought Goop was the sunblock sunscreen product, but apparently Goop is like a website that she made that she just sells like a bunch of like stuff on there or something like that. I don't know. I don't know too much about her. I just know she was an Iron Man, and I don't know. That's about it.
Ski down first, then Sanderson skis down to the right. Craig Ramone is another person in the meetup group who skis about 35 feet behind Sanderson. Sanderson and Ramone know each other only through skiing in this meetup group.
Okay.
So they're not really close friends, but they know each other.
Okay.
And they've only done about a half a dozen of these meetup groups together.
Okay.
At the top of Bandana, Ms. Paltrow, her 2 kids, and their 2 instructors are ready to go down to the bottom of Bandana for lunch. Before they ski, one of Ms. Paltrow's children says, Mommy, watch us ski." Okay. The children and their 2 instructors ski to the left.
How old were her kids at this time?
The 2 instructors are Eric Christensen and Carrie Oakes. Ms. Paltrow skis down to the right. She turns her head up to look at her children. As she turns her head back down, she screams. Then skis back into the back of Terry Sanderson.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting completely different stories. So from this one, so they're saying that like, oh, she wasn't looking. You know, the kids are like, Mommy, look at me. She wasn't looking, and she skis into the back of this guy. But we get a completely different story with her defense attorney. Like the stories are not even, they're like completely different. And I don't know how you're going to be able to prove this he said, she said shit. I don't know. That's going to be hard. Someone mentioned that, oh, it was Mike. The dude was asking for $3 million and then he dropped it to $300K to settle out of court. Gwyneth would not settle. Now they're in court.
She rides us back down. They hit the ground hard, and Miss Paltrow bounces off of Terry. The weight of both of them, their bodies, caused Mr. Sanderson's rib cage and his arm to smash into the ground, breaking 4 of his ribs.
Ouch.
2 of them completely. Sanderson's helmeted head hits the ground, causing a concussion as his brain strikes the inside of his skull.
Oof.
Sanderson is face down in the snow, unconscious. Skiing 35 feet above them, Craig Ramon is the only eyewitness.
I noticed that she didn't stand up, but I wasn't sure if the other side, like maybe the guy didn't stand up either. Because I only saw the part when her side was introducing the team. Hi, Kitchen Zombie.
Of the crash. Ramon skis down and stops just next to them. He asks if they are okay. They say nothing. Ramon, again, is the only witness of this crash. Miss Paltrow is slow to get up. Her son's instructor, Eric Christensen, skis over from the left.
Okay.
And stops above Sanderson and screams at Sanderson, who is not moving. What did you do? What did you do? Surprised by the crash and Christensen yelling at Sanderson, Ramon thinks, why is this Deer Valley guy screaming at Sanderson? He didn't cause this collision. Christensen doesn't let up, so Ramon steps between them. Christensen stops yelling at Sanderson. Sanderson is still not moving. They ask Sanderson if he is okay, but Sanderson only groans. Craig Ramon turns to Paltrow. Are you okay? He asks several times. Are you okay? She doesn't say a word, and she slides a few feet down the hill. Terry moves a little and groans. My ribs. Paltrow turns away and bolts down the mountain to the bottom. Christensen turns to Ramon. Do you realize your buddy just took out Gwyneth Paltrow? Sanderson moves more, trying to get his skis around.
So initially they were trying to go for like a hit and run, like, oh, Gwyneth Paltrow smashed into this dude and then just dipped the F out. But apparently the court dismissed that and said that it wasn't a hit and run. And I think not defense, the other side. I think they even hired like maybe, I don't know, like a hit and run ski expert or something who also, I think, also agreed with Gwyneth Paltrow's side. Sorry, that sounds so confusing.
Eric Christensen steps closer to Sanderson, picks him up by his hands, and stands him up. Snow is caked in Sanderson's goggles. Christensen turns his skis down the mountain, and he bolts.
Okay.
Skiing straight to the bottom, following Paltrow's group, leaving Sanderson and Ramon alone at the crash site. Sanderson is standing but hunched over, mumbling. And Ramon says, do you think you can ski? I think so. Sanderson tries, but skis poorly. Ramon says, stop, you forgot how to ski. Do you know your name? Terry. Do you know where you are? I have no clue.
I think at this point the kids may have already went down, possibly, and they were already waiting for mom at the bottom of the hill.
Ramon says, let me get some help. And Ramon steps back and flags down a Deer Valley employee and says, can you get ski patrol here? This guy's been hit. He's hurt, and he's just out of it, disoriented. Within minutes, a Deer Valley ski patroller, Whitney Smith, arrives with a sled. Smith examines Sanderson, puts him in a sled, and takes him down to the first aid station at the bottom of Bandana.
Okay.
At the first aid station, Sanderson again is evaluated, and he still has some disorientation. His ribs hurt. Whitney Smith tells him, and the group of people in the meetup group that are with him, he needs to go to an Instacare in Park City. Terry goes to the Instacare with someone who drives him. He's not sure who it was. And at the Instacare, he's...
Oh, an Instacare? I've never heard of Instacare before. Is that kind of like a mini ER or like urgent care type of thing? He tried to, so he did try to sue the ski resort, but the court didn't allow that. Someone mentioned that in the opening statement. I'm just going off opening statements. That's all I know. I've read some articles about it, but there wasn't really much information. I watched a little court TV with Vinnie Politan, but yeah, a lot of information that I just gathered was from the opening statement. So
evaluated.
Maybe take it with a grain of salt.
But Instacare says you need to go to an ER room. It appeared that his pain in his ribs might be broken, and he reported that he was unconscious. The next day, Terry goes into the VA emergency room. So what does the defense have to say about these things? First, they say, that's not the way this happened.
Was it in Utah, Idaho? Deer Valley Resort. I want to say Utah. Was it Utah? This also, I didn't realize, but this happened like in 2016. It was a long time ago. They're in trouble now.
He hit me from behind. I know the witness Ramon says he heard me scream and look up and saw the crash. I never saw Sanderson before he hit me. Sanderson was the one who hit me. This wasn't my fault. They also say, the defense, this is all Sanderson's fault. He's the one who can't remember the crash. My ski instructor, Eric Christensen, said he saw Sanderson above me making big turns and going really fast. This is Sanderson's fault. And they say, look, what's the big deal? He's 69 years old. Our doctors say he had some dementia, blindness in an eye, and many other problems. Yeah,
he was 69 and he's in his 70s now.
Broke some ribs, but those will heal. And 85% of people with brain injuries heal. What's the big deal? Oh, and look at his high test scores. He can't have a brain injury. And finally, they say, so what if he had a head injury and 4 broken ribs on the day of the
Why are you making the arguments for the defense?
crash? 8 hours later, he wrote to his daughter, I'm famous. That shows he can't be injured. And this is just about celebrity of Miss Paltrow.
Why are you mentioning this? I mean, I think he wanted to get ahead of it, but I don't think it was a good idea for him to mention this because they're going to hear it again in the other guy's opening statement.
Because of the defense's claims that nothing Miss Paltrow did caused this crash and his injuries, we, on behalf of Terry and his family, we contacted Dr. Richard Bain, a neurologist and biomedical engineer. He applies medicine and physics to understand traumatic brain injuries like this. Dr. Bain, the defense says nothing they did caused this crash and Terry Sanderson's injuries. Is that true? And Dr. Bain says, well, I don't know. Give me everything you've got, including medical records, scans, x-rays, reports, and so forth, and I want to examine him. Then I'll look at his case. But just so you know, you may not like what I say, but I'll
I honestly, he writes an email to his daughter saying, I'm famous. I don't know if that's a big deal, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big deal. But there was something attached in that email, an evidence that went missing. I won't spoil it for you, but kind of weird. Where did it go? What happened to it?
tell you true. So we give Dr. Bain the x-rays, the tests, the reports, and Terry sees him for an exam. And after Dr. Bain has reviewed these things, we call him up. So Dr. Bain, what do you think? Bain says, no, actually, absolutely, she caused this crash. She hit him from behind, which means she was higher on the hill than him. Mm-hmm. Well, but how do you know? Well, he broke his 4 ribs when she hit his back, knocking him down to the ground, and she landed on top of him, just like Ramon, the witness, said.
Gwyneth Paltrow looks like she's so over this. He was on a bunny hill. I don't think it was considered a bunny hill. It was still kind of. It was like an intermediate hill. I think it's what is it called? Maybe the one above Bunny Hill. They call it the Green Hill. So it still had a little bit some steepness, but I think somewhere they mentioned it wasn't exactly a bunny hill, but it was a little bit higher than a bunny hill because I think her kids were still kind of practicing skiing or something.
The only way for his broken ribs on the right side could fracture like this is if she hit him from behind and landed on top of him, pressing his right arm into his chest. That's really the only way to have broken 4 ribs like this. Yeah,
it's supposed to be relatively easy. That's what I was wondering. How did this guy break some ribs and brain injury and all that? Because you would have to go really fast. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fucking physics person or whatever, but I don't know. I would assume they have to go really fast. Because my friends, when they went skiing, snowboarding, when they had broken when they broke their fucking leg, torn their ACL and all that stuff, they were going really fast. And they were trying to do cool flips and jumps and all that stuff. But I mean, if you're on an intermediate, almost intermediate beginner slope, how the hell did you sustain such crazy injuries? But I don't know, maybe he's old, maybe not good calcium intake. I don't know. Maybe was going really fast, or he was going really fast. I don't know. How steep were these slopes?
Severely broken.
Shall we take a field trip to Utah? It's I don't like doing sports stuff. I don't want to get hurt. Okay, blue runs, green runs, and then black diamond runs.
Well, Dr. Bain, the defense says he should have recovered from the concussion. Well, that makes no sense because he still has symptoms more than 18 months after the crash. That means his brain injury is permanent.
Really? Have you guys broken your ribs before? Oh God, it sounds so painful. Let's go over to Gwyneth Paltrow's lawyer. I don't know any of the lawyers' names, so we're not on name basis right now. We're just going to refer to as Paltrow's lawyer and then the plaintiff's lawyer. I go there every year during the summertime and F1 races. I think they had the F1 race here in California. They do a tour, right? Where they go to different cities and stuff like that. Is that Formula One? Quick peeing corgi. Yeah, I don't wash my hands. That's why. Just kidding.
An unconscious man and bolted, and it's. I can tell you, we believe it to be utter BS.
Objection, Your Honor. Argument. He's supposed to present what he's going to show, not argue it.
We believe it to be. It's fair. It's fair, isn't it?
Oh, sustained. It is bordering on argument, counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to keep track of how many objections there are and how many were sustained and how many were overruled. La 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 la. Okay, so we got one objection so far. Objection sustained.
Suing for $3 million. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to hit damages later. I want to hit the merits of the case first. So the burden of proof, I wanted to emphasize, and then instruction 11 says don't abandon your common sense. So this can look. You're going to hear from brain experts and a lot of people to talk about this, but don't abandon your common sense. That's very important. I also want to just reference to you that you should pay attention more to the records before someone's thinking lawsuit.
Oh, maybe it's the Grand Prix. I think I'm getting it mixed up. Grand Prix? Is that different? Or is it the same? I don't know. I don't know this racing stuff. It's the same or different?
Then the records after someone's thinking lawsuit.
Objection, argument, Your Honor. This is open statement. This is argument.
Sustained.
You're going to see a lot of records.
Two
about,
sustained.
What was going on before and during, and then after. Some of the records before indicate that Terry Sanders had brain issues before. In fact, there was a prior MRI. Now, let me hit the accident, because I'd be silly to address other issues. Let me explain what was happening. And can you find that second picture? Ms. Paltrow has sentimental feelings about skiing. Her dad, who left this life too early, took her skiing as a kid at Alta. She grew up learning to ski, and those are very sentimental trips. In fact, after her dad died in his 50s, she didn't ski for a long time because it was an emotional thing for her. That is Ms. Paltrow. That is Gwyneth on the right. That is her son, Moses, on the left, on the very day of the ski accident. All right, so they're going up, and this was also, so it was a sentimental issue because she had started getting back into skiing, and she did it because she wanted her kids to learn like she had.
Okay.
Another thing, she had a boyfriend at the time who's now her husband, and he has kids the exact same age as Gwyneth's daughter and son.
Okay.
The daughter is the same age as the daughter, and the son as the son. And this was really their first trip to sort of have a mixed, see if this might work. So it was a special time, and it was a lovely day.
I believe the kids are going to testify, but like this happened a long time ago. So the kids are like a lot older now.
Okay, so some ski events, we worry about, is the sun in someone's eyes? No one's saying that. Is it a snowy day? No, it was a nice day. How about, was it slick run? No, it was a nice groomed run. How about, was it a really complex hill? No, it wasn't the bunny hill, but Bandana, who maybe some of you know, I mean, it's a green hill. And so none of those factors kind of come into play. Moderately busy.
Okay.
And she's skiing, again, with a group. So her group is she, Brad, now her husband, who you're going to hear from, her daughter,
Okay.
Apple, who you're going to hear from, Moses, who you're going to hear from, and then some Deer Valley
All right. Her whole family testified.
people. Now, these weren't her people. These were Deer Valley instructors. I could have hired Eric Christiansen that day, just as Gwyneth did. And then Brad has two kids, and they had ski instructors. So
Okay.
that was their group. It was kind of a loose group, but nonetheless, they went to the top. They met at the top of Bandana with the plan. This was about 11:30, 11 a.m. We're going to go down and have lunch. I think it's the Empire Lodge, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we're going to all kind of ski down.
Okay.
Gwyneth is a conservative skier. She always skis on the far right. So if it's like a highway, fast people go on the left. I don't know if it's the same, but...
Wait, why bring it up? You don't know if it's the same. Does anyone go skiing though? Is that a thing? You're going left. You're going fast. You're going the right. You're going slow.
far right, and then kind of small curves. And she's generally watching her kids, but she's not specifically watching them because they have their instructors. Mm-hmm. She's skiing, enjoying herself, and suddenly she sees two skis appear between her skis.
Okay.
And a man comes up right behind her. Now, they're not going fast. That's kind of the odd thing here.
Completely different story. Completely different story. Oh God, which story do you think the jury's going to believe? The guy I mentioned, the guy that is suing Gwyneth Paltrow, he was on court TV and he said Gwyneth Paltrow was screaming like King Kong. I'm trying to visualize Gwyneth Paltrow screaming like King Kong as she's coming down the hill and crushing into him. But I thought it was a very interesting way to describe that.
He comes up almost body to body like this and starts groaning.
Wait, the way that he's describing this is like, it sounds, I don't know. If I was Gwyneth Paltrow though, I would be like, oh my, I would freak the fuck out. But let's listen. I'm slowing this down really quick.
Body to body like this and starts groaning. She doesn't know what's going on. What's going on? Am I being assaulted? She's moving forward. And then she's like, they begin falling to the right. And she's feeling freaked out, I think is a fair statement. And he hits down.
I saw it was funny. Yeah, do you remember where it was, Patty? I thought it was Court TV that covered it. Because I'm pretty sure it was Vinnie Politan and he was like talking about it.
Apparently his side and his head, and she is essentially falling on him, but keep in mind his skis are intertwined now with hers.
Okay, I'm going to speed up to 1.25.
Her first reaction is get away from this. And so she's trying to get away. What has just happened? Now, she only has to think about this for a few seconds to realize, okay, I'm not being assaulted. But this fellow, she had a more colorful word, has just run into me. And she said, what are you doing? Or words to that effect. And he's like, words to the effect, I didn't see you. And then there's a question, well, who ran into who? And he says, you ran into me? And Gwyneth's like, no, you ran square right into me. And he said, I'm sorry. He doesn't deny saying, I'm sorry. He doesn't remember it, but he doesn't dispute it. Now, she's still ticked off. In fact, much has been said about the so-called only eyewitness. So you're going to hear from him this afternoon. I don't have to give you commentary on him. But he will say he heard and turned. He heard and turned. That's what the Deer Valley guy says. Eric Christiansen, one of the instructors, said he heard and turned and then saw.
So we actually don't have any eyewitness that saw the actual collision and whether or not Gwyneth Paltrow was looking off to the side, left, right, or something like that?
So I'll comment just a minute more on Mr. Ramon in just a minute. You'll hear about him.
I'm setting him back up.
Back to Gwyneth's story.
Okay, back to
So
story.
she's backed up. She's safe. Eric's on the scene. He's helping people get their skis off. And he's trying to figure out what happened. Now, Eric, backing up, they started at the hill. This is at the very beginning of the hill, by the way. It's not halfway down. It's not 3/4 down. It's the first quarter down. He's trying to figure out what happened. But he had seen Gwyneth go down. Then Terry, who was cutting across the whole thing. If I'm misstating it, we're going to have to defer to their testimony when they testify, but I'm trying to give you a big picture. He's making a much wider turning. And guess what? He's blind in one eye and has decreasing vision in his left eye. He has hearing aids. He's had heart
Wait, which eye is he blind? Which side?
stroke, many other medical conditions. Just weeks earlier, he had told his doctor, I'm feeling old suddenly. And Terry's story, by the way, is that he's coming across and he sees a struggling younger woman, not younger, a struggling female skier. And he wants to be really clear to stay away from her. So he's actually turning his head to clear the beginner skier. And what happens? He comes right upon Gwyneth. He back turns with his better eye, and suddenly she's there. So the Deer Valley report, do you mind? By the way, Deer Valley is not a party to this lawsuit. The court dismissed Deer Valley. So Gwyneth's not Deer Valley. Deer Valley stands on its own.
Objection, argument, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Deer Valley stands on its own.
Overruled
and,
one.
I don't know if they're going to assert like there's some massive cover-up or what, but
Objection, argument.
Sustained.
Okay. Back
same
one, I
three?
think, James. By the way, I think the goal is to give everyone a little better access with these little screens, but it hasn't worked out today. So Eric Christiansen, remember, he hears and he turns, and he goes directly over there. He's there within seconds. And he's seen what happened. And what does he say? Can you blow up the first half? Chief complaint, male skier took her out from behind. He's putting this together, and then let's...
2:26:16, 11:55 a.m. Skier, right? Bandana, slight something before flat on top. Number of students, 6 in group. Students' ability, advanced. What instruction was given to the students prior to the incident? I was skiing with 69-year-old son, 9-year-old son. Group was skiing down, bandana to lunch. Short turns downfall line on skier right. Okay, I think he's going to read the rest.
Let's do the bottom thing, and then we won't focus on exhibits anymore really today.
Okay.
On this, but first thing male skier said. Does that say said? I can't read it.
This is just, why are you presenting this then? Maybe he just forgot.
But first thing male skier said. Does that say said? I can't read it. Anyone?
Stated.
Anyone? Can anyone bail me out here? Please help me.
Stated was that she appeared right in front of him, thus
Okay.
admitting that he was the uphill skier. She never saw him because he came in from behind. That
Okay.
was the evaluation from the Deer Valley skier, from the Deer Valley instructor. Interestingly, Eric Christiansen, the ski instructor, is trying to figure out, all right, what's the first question, by the way? Everyone okay? Everyone okay?
Okay.
Now, they were both, any collision, you take a body blow, it takes a little while to gather your senses, recognize, okay, I'm safe, okay. But his answer was he was okay. And he was on his feet. This took minutes. Gwyneth was not happy still. Moses, who you're going to meet, he's now 16, but he was a 9-year-old at the time, was with his instructor. His instructor started to come over. Moses came over, and he saw his mom, and he was worried. He hadn't seen his mom. First of all, she's on the ground, and she's yelling at this guy. She might have said something like, "What the F word?" And I think she might have said the F word. We're going to figure that out.
Okay.
And she's mad. And he said, "I haven't seen my mom like that." And he was sort of personally a little upset. All right. And then, okay, everyone's okay? Everyone's okay. And Eric Christiansen, the ski instructor, said, a ski patrol person, who's different than the instructor, a ski patrol person came by and said, "Everyone okay?" And he said, Mr. Sanderson and Craig Ramon, who you're going to meet this afternoon, talked to each other and said, "We're okay." And they said, "We're okay," and the ski patrol left.
Okay.
All right, now everyone's okay. And then I think Eric Christiansen, okay, Gwyneth, you can go. Join your family. By the way, your family's waiting for her at the bottom. Brad, interestingly, had heard it and looked up and saw his wife on the ground and had come back up, and she had skied down to be with him, not to leave. By the way, you'll never hear the words hit and run in this whole trial. This was not a hit and run. The plaintiffs even had a ski expert evaluate it, and he said it's not a hit and run. So take that out of your mind.
Okay.
All right. So
out of my mind.
All right. Now what's going on? Okay. Everyone's good to go. Everyone went.
Okay.
Terry. Oh, right before he left, apparently.
Oh, wait a second. I forgot something. Okay.
Eric Christiansen said, "Your buddy just took out Gwyneth Paltrow." No one knew who she was. By the way, she had the helmet and goggles and everything. Guess who who denied that? Craig Ramon. Their so-called first skier has a whole different crazy story.
Objection, argument, Your Honor.
That is our
Overruled?
Overruled?
Then I
Or?
reassert my crazy comment. All right, so I'll continue the story. Everyone's good to go. Good to go. Okay, then they now hear she's Gwyneth Paltrow, and they're like, okay, well let's ski down. So they ski down a ways further, and Terry, I shouldn't call him Terry, Mr. Sanderson, does not feel good. He feels confused. He says. So you'll hear them like, well, let's get a ski patrol person now. We had previously waved one off, but now we've changed our mind. We need ski patrol. Toboggan person comes named Whitney. And she pulls up, and they...
What's toboggan again? Toboggan? Like a sled thing? Toboggan. Okay, like a sled person. Okay.
And the first thing Whitney says is, what happened? And Mr. Sanderson says, I don't know. I'm not sure. He did not say, I was just hit. Interestingly, Craig Ramon, the friend, did not correct that statement. So Craig Ramon, by the way, never once told Eric Christiansen she hit him. Didn't say one word about it. Didn't say we need help. Part of this crazy story is he says Mr. Sanderson was out cold for 2 minutes, unconscious. Now, do you know how long it is to look at a person who might be like dead or dying for 2 minutes and not do one thing? He didn't do anything.
True.
It's not true. Everyone on the scene was saying absolutely. If he was out, it was for seconds, not 2 minutes.
Yeah, because if he was out for 2 minutes, that was when you like start panicking and like call for like emergency help, right?
Christiansen's going to just ignore someone who's out cold. He's saying, I'm okay. He's on his feet. He's declining ski patrol. Very different story than someone who's out cold. I said, did you start CPR? Like, where you check his breathing and stuff? No, I didn't do any of it. You'll see there are a lot of ridiculous things, I think, about it.
Objection, Your Honor, an argument.
Sustained?
Gwyneth didn't have a helmet. He says Gwyneth didn't have a helmet or a face mask or a goggles on her.
Yeah, this part to me doesn't make sense.
She had those things. She doesn't go around skiing. She's safe conscious, and she's probably a little celebrity conscious about, like, I don't do that.
Yeah, I feel like she would have wanted to be recognized and stuff, especially when she's with her kids and stuff. So I don't know, it'd be kind of weird if she just had her like face exposed out. But yeah.
So anyway, we'll address that this afternoon more. But let me continue the story. So he's on the toboggan. Now, Whitney, this toboggan person's pretty smart. She goes, hey, I want you to remember, I'm going to tell you a few things, and I want you to remember them. And they're unique things. We'll get into it later. And at the bottom of the hill, she's checking them, and he remembers all of them. In fact, he's a poster. So he posts a very happy, smiling picture of the toboggan person and a very articulate comment repeating, like she went to Michigan, she won the ski thing, very detailed, and he posts it. Okay, well, that's nice, but it's not something you do if you just suffered a major traumatic brain injury. All right, so articulate, everything.
Okay.
At the bottom, he's talking, he's conversing. This isn't like garbled, crazy talk where you think head injury is important. So, by the way, he takes a picture, so he likes to take pictures and post things on Facebook and everything, of Ramon and one of the women he was skiing with, and they're all smiles. Like you post, you wouldn't know, like this is taken by someone who just suffered a major head collision or something. And boom, it's posted. Okay, great. This is good because we're getting real life things from him in his own fingers in his own head. Then he goes to an Instacare person. The Instacare person says, no signs of confusion. Okay, that's a big issue, right, if we're worrying about... by the way, there's a nurse on your panel, but I take it from our experts that you'll hear that if you hit your head and you say, I have confusion, essentially you are diagnosed. I mean, you have a concussion. I mean, so maybe it's more than that. I might be simplifying it, and forgive me if I am, because nothing I'm saying is evidence, but I'm trying to give you the story. So the guy there is like, okay, I can't rule out problems, so you should get a CT. A CT is imaging of the brain, and he ends up going to the VA hospital the next day. The CT, it's interesting. So he had a stroke-like event and lost his right eye, like 6 years earlier. So we have imaging of his brain 6 years earlier, and guess what? There are defects in that new CT, but guess what? They were there before. Ooh. They were there before, and guess what? Their experts didn't do. Go back and look to see if the problems in his current imaging is present on his 6-year-old CT.
Oh no!
It's kind of crazy. They're interviewing him.
Did the experts not know this guy already had a brain imaging scan 6 years ago?
But no one's actually trying to go back and sort of say, look, is his brain different? This is his daughter. I can't believe this is all on GoPro.
Ooh! Where's the GoPro footage?
I can't believe this is all on GoPro. Where's the GoPro? Do we want it? We want it. It's nowhere to be found. I'm glad you're okay. He's telling his daughters, I'm okay.
I'm famous, ... at what cost? Dad, I cannot believe how unlucky and how crazy this all is. I can't believe this is all on a GoPro. What are the chances? I'm so glad you're okay. How are you feeling this evening? Where is the GoPro? What happened to it?
All right. Gwyneth was hurt by Mr. Sanderson's negligence. when he came up behind her,
Dang.
paralleled her, and went. She says she has a prior knee problem. She was worried about it. She separated from him with help. Then boyfriend came up, and she is upset. She has anyone sustaining a blow is upset. She's sore. She never went to a doctor, but for this, by the way. But it rattled her, and it physically hurt her. When they were dismissed, they went down to the bottom of the hill. And who was waiting for her? Her daughter, Apple, now 18, then 8, I think. No. 11. Sorry, I got that mixed up. So, and Apple's like, what took you so long? And she said, some a-hole just ran into me. I think she used the real word. All right, why is this important? She didn't say, I just ran into someone. She was mad. And over lunch, she was mad. And then after lunch, she said, that guy kind of hurt me. And I'm not going to ski the rest of the day.